Alrighty, hey guys, welcome to our April team call. Jess and I are super pumped to see all your beautiful faces and
very beautiful
chat together for a little bit. So first of all, we always kick off the beginning of the team calls with our wins, just about 5 minutes of wins. So if you had a win in March, which I hope you guys all filled out your little journals for your reflections of the month, and put down your wins. It could be something big, it could be something tiny, it could be multiple things, but go ahead and blow up the chat thread. And if you ranked up in March, we want to hear about it. If you signed a new customer, sold a beauty box, if you joined as a new ambassador maybe in March, we want to welcome you. Whatever your win was, go ahead and shout it out in the comments. I didn't actually write down like everyone who ranked up to silver, super silver. We could shout out a couple of our level ones and some people that we know that ranked up. There's gonna be a few people share also about what happened in their month. But who wants to unmute and say what their wins were? We can have a couple people unmute. It's just like popcorn style, super informal. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Julie ranked up to silver. So fun. Chelsea re-ranked to gold. And there's no shame in re-ranking because that happens. Justin going for it this month.
Yes, going to re-rank this month. So who else has something? Come on, there's a lot going on at the end of March. Let's not be shy.
Julie added 3 ambassadors.
Perfect.
Whoa.
There we go. Whoa.
They were all typing. That's why. I see Gisella's on here. She's from Mexico and she went silver.
Yeah, she went silver. Yeah. So let's.
Jamie re-ranked gold. Stephanie got her first 2 customers.
Perfect.
Awesome. Lana had the highest points she's ever had. That's exciting.
Hey, way to go.
That's a win.
Perfect.
Stephanie had a level 1 go silver. Very exciting. I would say, Rebecca ranked senior gold. Her team rocked it. Awesome.
Hey, Megan, I got new people in my funnel while working overtime at my job, at my day job, which is like exciting for me. So yeah,
How'd you do it?
One of them was a new person that I got moved to Tulsa, so I have an hour drive to work. And one of the people in the department I moved to I've known her not even a full 2 months, and she's wanting to get signed up. And so when they rolled out the $994, $995, whatever it is, sign up, I am going to be talking to her this week. So I'm super excited about that.
That's awesome. Way to go. Who else wants to unmute and share a win? I will say that those of you who participated in Consistency Club in March did a phenomenal job. And we celebrated on Sunday night with a hilarious bingo night hosted by Amy Booker, which was so that was super fun. Congrats. Who's doing Consistency Club this month? Awesome. There's still time to join that also if you don't know anything about it or you just are remembering that you need to do it. We just kicked off the week on Monday, so there's still time to catch up. And we revamped the worksheets for that a little bit, so you don't have to print as many pages, and it's just like a little checklist. I like checklists. So I caught up. I did part of mine yesterday and then caught up this afternoon on mine. So there are a lot of tasks, but they're things that need to be part of weekly regimen. Maybe I'm a blitzer, so maybe not every day I'm reaching out, but on certain days I'm catching up on the days that I didn't do, because I like, once I get in the mode of reaching out, sending invites, like I don't just send 3, I'll send 30 of them, right? So anyways.
Ooh, thank
Ooh,
you.
so
Delivery.
coffee delivery.
Delivery.
Good. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that Consistency Club is helpful. I'll just say really quick while so if you just hopped on, we're sharing wins in the comments, and feel free to interrupt if you are bursting at the seams to tell everyone what your wins were for March, or a win. Tomorrow is, I'm hosting a power half hour, and it's going to be not just our team. Tamara Holloway is organizing power half hours all through the month. And so I'd highly encourage you to pop on. You're probably not going to know the other people that are hosting them, but there's so many people, there's so many jewels under Jessica and Tamara that have value to share with us. And there's always things to learn from people. And so that's tomorrow morning at 8:30 Central Standard Time. And then I'm doing 2 live coachings per week for the Consistency Club group, and we're going to dive into Brooke Hemingway's business pre-recorded videos. She gave permission to utilize those with our teams, like, you know, as part of coaching. So I think that'll be really helpful for everyone, and I'm excited for you guys to hear that. So that's tomorrow afternoon at 2. If you cannot be on live, I will record it, but try your best to be on. Just carve out that hour. It'll be worth it, and because you can get personalized coaching from me and from any other leaders that pop on at that time. And so it really is invaluable, and it's meant to be interactive. So I'll be feeling kind of a Q&A time after we listen to Brooke's training. And also tomorrow kicks off our 3-day challenge event. So if you are someone that wants to plug people in to some sort of an event, but you're not sure, you don't want to have to do all the work yourself, have no fear, because we host these twice a month at least. And so tomorrow through Friday is a basic Plexus Info informational group. It'll have some live videos in it, and it'll be fun. So feel free to plug into that and invite people. Any of your new ambassadors that joined in March should be invited. Same with your customers, and then your potentials. So it's a huge little opportunity to plug people into and help them learn more. Do you want to tell them about your power hour? I don't remember the time of that.
7. Yeah, I'm looking up a code.
Justin is hosting a power hour for corporate next week. I'll get the information up about that. So
Tuesday the 14th at
Tuesday,
7 p.m. Central.
Tuesday the 14th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Well.
Yes. Yeah. So tomorrow that coaching is at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Crystal had several. She enrolled 2 ambassadors in March and 1 this month so far. That's awesome. It's funny how this business comes in spurts. And actually, Jody Merritt is someone that's been on our team for a long while, and she's going to actually share a few of her wins for March and some tips and just some information that I think we all need to just be reminded of in light of consistency. And when you commit to consistency, a lot of times you don't see the fruit right away. It's kind of like planting a garden, right? You don't harvest the same day you plant. So Jody, are you free to unmute and share a few of your thoughts?
Hey, yeah, thanks for asking me to share. Okay, so yeah, March was really fun, but I feel like it wouldn't be right to just be like, whoa, it was amazing, without saying that. Like December, January, February were kind of miserable in the sense that it's inspiring and exciting to add people, right? But when nobody is saying yes and nobody is joining you, it just gets kind of like, oh my goodness. And I think, you know, I have been doing this for a while, and a lot of times what I've seen on my team is something like that will happen where they'll go a few months and nobody will join, or maybe they decide like this month I'm going to give the business a try and see where this goes. And I think we've all been there, right? And then we're like, oh, well, I don't feel like this must not be right. And maybe sometimes it isn't right. Like, Amy Booker always shares about how like if God says like it's time to be done, then I'm done. But I don't think, she means like if you have a few hard months, then it must not be the right thing. But I think sometimes we go that route because it just gets so hard and we're not seeing what we want to see. And so we say like, well, like maybe this just isn't what God is calling me to do. And I'm not going to say what he is or isn't calling you to do. That's between you and him. But I just think we have to be careful because the nature of this business is that it comes in spurts, and it's not like if you're not adding people that it's not going to come, but you have to be consistent. So I don't have any like crazy inspiring things to share with you, except to just remind you that what will help you be successful is to do the things that they've been telling us to do from the very start. So for me, it's just sharing on Facebook, cold messaging, inviting people, and following up like crazy. And you have to remember that sharing on Facebook is like of those things that I just said, sharing on Facebook, cold messaging, inviting and following up. Sharing on Facebook is actually it's very important to do that consistently, but it's the least important thing that you're doing. For me, it's the easiest thing to do, but I've very rarely, and I think it's been like almost 5 years. Yeah, 5 years this fall. So like 4.5 years. Very rarely are people like, I saw your post and now I want to join your team. Like that's just like laying a foundation of information and education and them just learning and learning and learning. And then you reach out to them and they're like, oh yeah, I did see your post, or oh yeah. Or like I always tell my team, like you share and share and share. So when they get a migraine, they're like, I think I heard so-and-so say that whatever would help me with that. And then maybe they'll reach out to you, but it's not going to happen the way that we necessarily want it to happen. So I thought I would just share about the 4 people who joined my team in March after a really dry season. One of them, I look back at our messages, I had sent her 9 follow-up messages before she finally responded. And this is somebody that I see and talk to in person at least once a week. And so for her to not be responding to my messages was really weird because none of our interactions were awkward. She would ask me about Plexus in person and then I would follow up with her and nothing. Total just like, so immediately what do we assume, right? We're like, oh, she hates me. She doesn't ever want to talk about Plexus. She's never going to try it. Maybe she's just being nice in person. Like, our mind like goes to 1,000 different things that may not even be true. And sure, maybe sometimes they are, but a lot of times they're not. Almost always, it's just that they aren't reading your messages or they don't pay attention to Messenger nearly as much as we do. We get paid to pay attention to Messenger, right? But not very many other people do. And yeah, it's just usually they're just not, whatever. They missed it or they weren't thinking about it or they were having a busy day. It's all kinds of things. But that 10th time that I followed up, she must have been paying attention because she responded right away and signed up that night with a $199 welcome pack. And then the very next morning, she signed up her mom. So you just follow up forever and you have to be consistent. Yeah, the 10th time was a charm. Absolutely. But the other one had told me no for a really long time. All of these people that joined me in March, I'd been talking to them for well over a year. Just relationships that I had been building and just reaching out, following up, just maintaining a really good friendship with them because I genuinely care about them. And over time, they eventually trusted me. And then I invited her to come to the Springfield event. And she had told me no because of money. And then that night, I was like, so what do you think? And kind of like tiptoeing around the money conversation. And I know money is really hard for her family, but she recognized the value that night. And it was like, no questions asked. Give me that $199 welcome pack. Like she'll be consistent forever. Like I really believe it because of what she heard that night and what she learned. And then the 4th person was literally just waiting for me to come to her house. Like, I know that sounds weird, but like she was just, all I had to do was say like, could I just come over and show you these different things? Like I could just tell like she didn't really like talking about it on Facebook or even over the phone. Like she just needed to be in person talking about it. So I just showed up one night and we talked about it and she signed up right away. So I think I tell you all of that to say that like, you really just have to do the things that they're telling you to do, that we are telling you to do. I have to keep doing those things even when I don't feel like it. It does get a little bit like, oh my goodness. But then, I mean, happens, but you just have to believe that if I keep following up, and none of the people that are where you want to be aren't doing those things. That's what they're still doing. Megan is still doing that. And that's the reason that she's where she is. So yeah, follow up, be consistent, and follow up some more.
It sounds so boring, doesn't it? It's just, I mean, it's the same stuff that we have been preaching for since we started, but it's because those things work, right? If we're committed to the daily tasks of those things. And Jody, I just want to congratulate you for working through the valley in the hard season and when you weren't seeing fruit from your labor. And because that's when it's discouraging, kind of, when you're legit doing all the things and you don't see fruit from that. But you did. You are reaping the consistency of what you were doing in December. And so I really appreciate your example in that and your willingness to pipe up. I think sometimes when you've been in this business for a while, so you've learned the skill set, you've become you're becoming the type of person that you need to become. Sometimes it's easy to always highlight the new people that are, hitting their warm market, the people they know really well. And, the true test is when you can be consistent in the darker seasons, or when you've done this business and you have signed up a lot of your initial warm market and had that first influx of momentum, the rubber hits the road and that's when your character shows up, is like, can I be diligent in doing these things? And when you're creating and talking to new people or meeting new people, like that kind of thing takes time. So it's not like the new relationships that you're building now are going to necessarily immediately be people on your team. Sometimes they are, but other times it takes time. A lot of times it takes time. The other thing I liked what you pointed out, you were sharing the tasks that you do, which isn't necessarily anything earth-shattering, like Amy Booker has said before, like what I do every day is not sexy. Like, it's not flashy. It's, you're sitting there at your desk or on the beach or wherever you're working, watching your kids play and jump on the trampoline while you send some messages out. It's the consistency of doing the small things every day. It goes back to that slight edge principle. But I really resonated with what you were saying about good, better, best. I mean, out of all the tasks that you can do, Facebook posts and this isn't even income producing, but scrolling a team page, like some of that stuff is the easy stuff and it makes us feel like we're actually working, but that doesn't move the needle forward. Mm-hmm. And I remember Jessica Heffley saying she would only be half as successful, and maybe not even that much, if she only posted on Facebook. But we have to do the uncomfortable thing. I will just say, it's not comfortable to reach out to people that you have no idea if they're interested in what you have or not. It's that realm of uncertainty. But like Mel Robbins was talking about, we're not going to always feel motivation. Do you guys listen to that? I thought it was so, I've listened to her say it before, but it's that 5-second rule. It's that uncomfortable. She's like, no one grows. You can't build a business being comfortable. Right? You can't help more people being comfortable. Oh, Crystal Smith's daughter is shaking her head. Yeah. Like, amening. She gets it. So, I also like that you said showing up in person. I have a friend. I think I'm going to have to go to her house and help her unpack her Plexus box. I think that's how I'm going to, keep her, consistent on the products. So thank you for saying that, because I need to do that with my friend Krista. Did you have something to pipe in there, babe?
One thing on the fourth person that Jody signed up in March. So that's a great lesson right there, because we would be surprised how many friends or our family that we have that's just like waiting for us to ask. Like, but then again, it's this idea of fear. We're afraid to ask. We're not afraid to post. Like, there's this progression in Plexus, like, okay, I'm going to make my first post. And then you make that and you check that off the list. And then it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to reach out about the business. And then you get past that hurdle. And then it's a Facebook Live, and then it's like this progression. But at closing is something I think that we need to talk about, and I don't think it's as scary as we make it out to be. I think when we talk about closing somebody, it's getting them to sign up. And sometimes it's just a matter of asking, are you ready to sign up or get started? So, I mean, just like Jody's friend, her friend was just waiting, like, okay, I'm just waiting for you to come over. So, there wasn't a sales pitch involved. There wasn't anything like that. It was just, we have to be willing to ask. But it takes overcoming fear, because we build this thing up, I think, sometimes in our mind where it's scary when it's really not. We just need to be faithful enough to ask them if they're ready to get started. So I think that was really a great point you made.
One thing that I'm learning too is just state the obvious. Someone had said, Abby made a post about the business this morning or last night or something. I mean, it was recent, and she had a mad face. And someone's like, oh, don't worry, in the thread this morning. And they said, oh, don't worry, that person probably accidentally hit. And she's like, no, I know she's an MLM hater. And so I just piped in, and there was a couple other people. Lana was one that said, I'm an 8, so I would press that button and say, hey, tell me more. It sounds like you have a story behind, your reaction to my post about the business. And what I am learning to do is just state the obvious and say, and I did this with a friend probably in the first year I joined. She was just really negative, and I don't remember what she said back to one of my messages. I said, hey, I'm honestly just really curious your perspective. Like, she turned me down. It must have been for the business, I think. And I just said, I'm actually honestly really curious about what your perspective is. Like, you won't offend me. And so using verbiage like that, even in reach outs, to say, hey, I know this is super random, but you came to mind, or hey, I'm reaching out to people on Facebook today about Plexus Business. They have the $6 million stimulus. The goal is to get $600 into 10,000 families' hands this month to help people financially. And, this may or may not be for you, but I thought of you. And so it's that verbiage of being vulnerable and just being like completely honest and open. And the more you do messages like that, the more comfortable you're going to get talking to people. So if that means you have to face private or personal message yourself first, I do a lot of voice record, especially when I'm reaching out about the business, because it's your voice. Even if you stumble a bit over your words, I do it too. It's okay. That makes you human. If you're sending it to yourself first, you can always redo it and make it what you want it to say, but you'll get more of a flow to what you're sharing and telling people about. One thing, I posted some information about reaching out about the business and leading with the business first in our Consistency Club group today. I was re-listening to some of those videos, but I thought Jacqueline Stanley had a excellent point. She said that when she first started, she signed up a friend as a customer, and as she grew, she realized she needed to talk to her people about the business. And so she went back to the friend and said, hey, are you at all interested in the business? And her friend has said, actually, I was kind of curious. She said, I honestly thought maybe I wasn't the right fit for your team because you didn't approach me about joining your team and working the business with you. And so she said it was like a gut punch to her because her friend felt like that, because she didn't ask her, she felt like she wasn't the right type, or she wasn't good enough, or wasn't the right fit or whatever for this business. So it's always interesting. We cannot prejudge what people are thinking, for sure. So anywho's, we have some other people that had some wins in March that are game for sharing. Let's see, where is Julie? Julie's a new ambassador on the team.
Hey,
she's had some great health results. And we realized that we have some circles that overlap, because she works at the big church that my aunt attends, and the church that we got married at almost 16 years ago, not an hour from us. And she joined Chelsea Finley. Oh, there's Chelsea. So Julie, are you game for sharing a little bit about how you went silver in March?
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I had absolutely no intention of working the business side of Plexus whatsoever. I knew I had some huge health goals, and Chelsea just kept posting, and I watched her for a great long time before I finally said, you know what, I think I'm going to try this Renew You. I've had such great success with the products that I just thought, more people just need to know about this. I have, a core group of people that we share the same struggles. I need to reach out and let others know. And I also have some personal financial goals too. And so I thought, well, this could take care of, two things that I'm interested in. So so I sort of jumped in, not really knowing what I was doing per se. I never wanted to sell anything. I don't feel like I'm a salesperson, but I'm definitely a people person. So I have that going for me. But I think my huge takeaway from my time being an ambassador is, attending the consistency club, really taking the information and the advice that they're giving to heart. All of that it works. That's all I can say is it just works. So I was very good about working out of my comfort zone, being vulnerable, reaching out. I felt very uncomfortable at first reaching out to people who I hadn't talked to in years. I felt sort of fake. But what I realized is that people are made for relationships, and we just need to, that follow-up that Jody talked about, that is what is so important. People want to be in relationship with one another. They enjoy catching up with you. And so if you're consistently following up with people and showing a genuine interest in the things that are happening in their life, they're going to start paying attention, which was my experience with the people that I was able to sign up in March. I had two of my friends, one a close friend, the other one her sister, who were listening and watching for a long time, but put me off. And I think it was really when you're putting a deadline on something, when we did the March push, hey, I've got, 5 hours. Who is in the next 5 hours? And I was surprised how many people jumped in. It shocked me, to be honest. But I think that, again, the takeaway from that is, okay, so I need to put a little bit more posture on the things that I'm sharing. I don't need to be pushy, but there's opportunity, and I don't need to be afraid to share the opportunity. I think another win for me personally was being vulnerable with I just finished my Renew You 60 days. And so I posted my before and after pictures. Y'all, I am not a tiny girl, and that was super uncomfortable for me. But I think, there's that vulnerability and reality, and, this is real. We're real people living real lives, struggling with real issues, and who can't, understand and identify with that. So anyway, those are my wins for March. And I'm going to do Consistency Club again because it's still not super comfortable for me, but it works. And so I'm hoping to just continue to trust the process and, pray for favor over my efforts. And I know the Lord will meet me there.
Excellent. Yeah, we had fun meeting up at the coffee shop. Was that at the beginning of March, maybe? before the quarantine. And it was just a blessing of a time. I really appreciated just hearing your perspective, and it's reminded me like how valuable it is, like you were talking about, we were made for relationship, and how valuable it is to be face to face with people, and hear their hearts, and like, what is your why? What is your goal for sharing, and just kind of chatting through that and being able to share perspectives and, kind of work through that. I think it's really important. So congratulations on all your wins, and thank you for being vulnerable. And, I really feel like when we choose to kind of do the scary thing, there's a level of uncertainty because you're like, oh man, like, will this be encouraging to other people? But people track with vulnerability, and when we share our wins or a goal that we're going for. People, a lot of people come out the woodwork too. I mean, if nothing else, cheer you on. So cool. Well, I see Rebecca. She was putting her horses in for the night, and she is someone that hit a goal in March. She went senior gold, and she was going to share a few of her top tips of, I know a lot of people are like, wow, I would love to be senior gold. How did you do it? You know, what were some of the things that you said or did, or what have you been doing to reap that harvest in March? Rebecca, are you at a place where you're able to unmute and share a few things?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
I apologize in advance if children come screaming in.
No worries.
But we're out here at the ranch. It's beautiful, by the way. You see all that pretty stuff? So pretty. Anyways, to be honest, I have had the most insane life since starting Plexus. And honestly, that has been part of what has fueled me. And in the last 3 months, between ranking gold and ranking senior gold, I was feeling the down, like, man, I've ranked up every single month, which I know is not normal, so don't feel like it is. But I was like, I ranked up every single month, and now it's taken me 3 months to get from gold to senior gold, and I was feeling really down. But I'm super blessed to have people like Frankie and Phoebe and all of my people on my team. And what I found was, in the times when I didn't have the time to be recruiting like I wanted to be recruiting, or that I had been recruiting in the past, that just answering the questions that my team needed answered was huge. To be the support for my team helped me rank up. I'm a pretty strong recruiter. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, my phone chimed out for a second. I'm a pretty strong recruiter. But what I found was that by helping my team continue on in their recruiting, I was able to rank up myself. And I'm so grateful for such an amazing team. Francesca, or Frankie, she has been incredible. The place I'm at the ranch is called Inchelium, and it's a reservation town. And she has reached out to everybody here and helped them all on their health journey. And it's been such a blessing. And to be able to be a strong leader has proven to be worth its weight in gold. And I'm not saying recruiting isn't important, but man, I'll tell you, being a strong leader is a lot less work than being a super strong recruiter. Because if I can support each of my recruiters in their own business, help them get going on what they're doing and help their people, then I don't have to do as many of the specific work reach outs. And I do. I add 3 to 6 people every month. Don't get me wrong. But, when you're first starting out in this business and you're working on, it's all you. Every single reach out is you. It's a lot. You spend a lot of time on the phone or in Messenger and answering all the questions. And to be able to share some of that with other people is so important. And it's such a blessing. I'm so blessed to have Molly. Molly and I are very different, which is a huge blessing, to be honest. Molly is super sweet and kind and slow. Like, she's soft. And I'm like, let's do this. And let me tell you why the business works. And let me tell you how it's going to go. And so to be able to find the people that each person connects with and be like, you know what, Molly's going to answer your questions because you're Molly's type of person, versus me, somebody who's like, I need numbers and like, explain this to me how it's going to work. And I can answer those questions. And, each person connects with somebody different. And that's what's amazing about this business, is that finding somebody who can answer those questions for the person that they're talking to. And I love that. I'm so excited. My next step, I think it's absolutely insane that I see Ruby on my, next rank goal, because sorry, kids are getting closer. They're stalking me. you know, like that, I didn't think that was going to happen this year, but I'm excited. And so my next goal is to reach out into Mexico and the Hispanic market back in Boise, although I'm not back in Boise right now. And I know Justin had reached out, and they got their first silver in Mexico, and that's so exciting. And I'm excited. Hey, Abiel, baby, can you go that way? See, even when I move away from them, they're not, they don't go away. So I'm really excited. Justin had said, you know, whatever I can do to help. And I'm excited for Justin to help me reach out to Mexico, because you know what, even at Senior Gold, I'm terrified. I have quite a few contacts down in Mexico, but I'm terrified to mess it up. And so if you're scared to mess it up, don't be, because all it does is slow you down. All it has done for me to be scared of messing up Mexico is make me not reach out. What has it done me? I don't have anybody in Mexico. So I want you to reach out, ask somebody to hold your hand, and to do your best to do what's scary. Jennifer just did that amazing live video last night for how to sign people up with the welcome pack after they sign up as an ambassador. That's awesome, you guys. That's huge. So many of us were struggling with that, and I was like, Molly kept sending them my way and being like, well, Rebecca's done it. I'm like, I don't know how I did it. I just did it. And so when Jennifer figured it out, you know, it's amazing to be able to send people to each other and say, hey, how did you do that? So I don't know, Megan, I'm rambling at this point, but you guys, you're all amazing. Each thing you do is amazing. Keep doing the things, keep reaching those goals, set little goals, reach them, create that belief in yourself, and you'll keep going. And don't give up when it's slow, because if I had given up, I would certainly not be at Senior Gold. So keep it up. Megan, take it away.
No, that's great. Thank you for sharing your tips. One thing I resonated with that you said was that you've just come through like one of the craziest times in your personal life, but you've built your business in spite of all that. And I just want to say that this business can, I mean, the things in our life that are going on can either be our reason for working this business and helping people and serving others, or we can create excuses. Every one of us has plenty of excuses of why this can't work right now. So, Rebecca, thank you for sharing your thoughts and you know what you've done. I will also say too that ranking up every month can be your norm. If you're new, if you're silver and you're like, boom, I'm working this business and I want to be ruby in 3 months or 6 months or whatever. Silver, super silver, gold, senior gold, that can happen. Okay. And so it all goes back to how much massive action you're taking. And I'm not saying that every person needs to do that. People sometimes that's not their pace that they want to go at, but I will say that just because that's how Rebecca's done it, or you know, that's how different people on this team have done it, that doesn't mean that you're a unicorn. A lot of times that means that those people have put a lot of time and effort and reached out, like Rebecca said, Frankie has reached out to her entire community of people, you know. So I think it goes back to when you see someone ranking up every month, it's because they are putting massive action into place to do that kind of thing.
Well, and it's also could be because it was very important what Rebecca said about there's a difference between personally recruiting and there's between that and helping other people personally recruit. And what happens when you do that, when you're personally recruiting, you're adding people to your team. But when you're assisting other people, if you're assisting other teammates that are adding to your team, then you start to multiply. And that's how you can rank up quickly and how you can rank up every month sometimes. So the faster you learn that Plexus is a team sport, the more successful you'll be.
And it's a skill set to learn, you know, so just don't be looking at people like Rebecca or Frankie or whoever and saying, well, they're not me. It all goes back to skill set an action, mindset, belief, right? When you study the people, right? When we study ourselves or others, there's like certain key things. And so if you're constantly battling, which I would say all of us are battling at some level, what, like the head trash, right? The stuff that's going on in our head and what we're believing about ourselves or others or what they're thinking, we have to really take captive the things that we're thinking, because that influences our actions and our habits and the actions that we're taking. I really appreciated her shout outs for her team also, because she recognizes the beauty of team. Up, down, and side to side, meaning she pulls in Molly. She's not trying to be a cowboy doing this all herself by herself and saying, no, I got this, right? She's pulling her sponsor in and saying, hey, hey, Frankie, or hey, whoever, chat with Molly. I think you'd really resonate with her. And then, Molly's taprooting into her team and pouring into people. And so I think it's just so beautiful that as we start to build our teams, we have a whole team of different skill sets, different giftings, different personality types, and realizing that not everyone resonates with me and how I say things, but they may resonate better with Justin or Linda or Vanessa, right? Or your sponsor. And so I think that's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, do you have some things?
Yeah, I just had a few things I wanted to share real fast. One thing is we're in some really interesting times. Like this is, I've never experienced anything like what we're experiencing as a country or as a planet. We're just in some really interesting times, but the thing is that we need to not fear. We talked about fear a couple times tonight, and in light of our Plexus business anyway. Be encouraged, be encouraged. And if you're fearful right now about reaching out, a couple different things that I would do with that. One is fear paralyzes. So anytime I've been fearful of something in this business, it causes me to do nothing. I just sit and do nothing. So we have to deal with fear. Fear is something that has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with quickly. Action gets rid of fear. So if there's something that we're afraid of, maybe we're afraid to reach out, or we're afraid we're going to be insensitive because we're reaching out, or we're afraid we're going to be insensitive because some network marketing coach on Instagram said, don't reach out. Ignore that. This action is what will get rid of fear. Even if you're afraid, take the next step anyway, whether it's reaching out to someone. Maybe someone came to mind in the night or when you were up in the morning. Reach out to that person. We are in a time, and I honestly believe this is why I keep sharing it. And some of you have heard me say it a few times probably in the last week or so, but I'm going to share it again because I think it's absolutely critical. Right now is the time to be reaching out to people. People are home. People are not people are not at a sporting event every single night of the week. People are concerned about their health. People are concerned more and more each day about their personal finances. People are more open to additional streams of income, right? I mean, we're in some interesting times. So I think, so be careful of what causes you to fear, and be careful of what causes inaction, because it might be a lie. It could be a lie. People, like I said, people right now need what we have to offer, maybe more than they ever have before. So don't let fear paralyze you from reaching out. Some of the people, I just wanted to, Megan mentioned something about our thinking and it's important what we think and how we're thinking, what we put into our minds. So I just want to share some truth with you guys here about the industry of network marketing and about our company, because I think it's always important to focus on what's true. What is good, what is right, what is true, what is lovely. So let's look at some things with the industry. One thing is the network marketing industry, whenever there's an economic downturn, the network marketing industry does better. Like when everything else starts to fall apart, the network marketing industry actually grows. It's because more people are interested, more people are open to different opportunities, more people are looking for ways to make money. And I'll just say one thing right now. If you thought that the retail industry was in trouble before this crisis, after this crisis is over, the retail industry will never be the same again. Like, it was like some of the local malls that we have here were already on the edge, and now they're shut down for weeks and weeks and weeks. A lot of people are going to be open to business opportunity. Do not let fear stop you from sharing that with people. Some people that have said no to me, even up to a month and 2 months ago about Plexus, have reached out to me in the last few days, and they're saying, hey, I want to know more about your guys' compensation plan. Like, how's this work? I'm open to having a conversation with you. And I signed one guy up to Saturday. Well, technically Saturday, but see, listen to this. So technically I signed him up on Saturday, okay? But I signed him up under I sent him the wrong website. Like, I sent him some other guy's website named Justin Keith, who, if you know him, I have no idea who this guy is. Anyway, he got a new ambassador from me on Saturday. Thankfully, Monday morning we got it fixed, and now he's on in my downline. But you know, you have to keep moving forward. You're going to mess up. You're not going to do everything perfectly. You're not going to answer everything perfectly and scientifically, and you're not going to do all the things perfectly. So what? Just do them, and you get better over time. You might just 5 years into it, you're sending the wrong websites. So I mean, it happens, but you have to keep moving. But
Or reaching out to
keep reaching out, yeah.
someone
So-
already on your team.
So the thing is that there's a lot of people right now that are very interested in what we have to offer. So again, don't let fear hold you back. I talked to a guy that I've become friends with who is, he is called a network marketing legend. And I talked to him when this whole thing started, and he said, Justin, right now is the time to be reaching out. Like, you have everything you need right now. You're in a health and wellness industry. People are looking to get healthy, and people are scared about their finances. This is the exact opportunity you've been waiting for. He said in 2008, 2009, when the housing crisis happened, he said everybody else stopped reaching out because they wanted to be sensitive. He said, my team doubled our efforts and we grew 300%. He's like, that was the game changer. Everybody else was playing it safe. We went for it, and it paid off big time. He said, so right now is the time to be reaching out. He said, don't be fearful, and don't be sitting back being sensitive. Reach out with sensitivity, of course, and share what you have to share. Another thing, so the industry of network marketing is typically not affected by an economic downturn like this that actually grows. These are the growing spots for network marketing. So that means our teams can be growing right now, just like they did in March. In March, the team overall grew. It moved in the right direction. The other thing I want to point out some truths about the company, and you guys already know this, but I think it's important to remind ourselves exactly what kind of company we are partnered with. Like, I think it's amazing. So first off, they roll out a $6 million stimulus package that's available, yes, to new ambassadors, but it's also available to old ambassadors. I find that incredible. They didn't have to do that. So that's one thing. The other thing is now we have the 994-ish, enrollment. They didn't have to do that, but they did. The other thing is they have 10% off of welcome packs. There's also an option for free shipping, or almost free shipping, right? There was a little bit of confusion with that the other day, but the point is, as a company, we work for the supplement industry, right? It's considered critical infrastructure according to the government right now in the United States, meaning it's not getting shut down. They're going to keep shipping products. The people are still working in the warehouse right now. They've taken extra precautions. They're still making the stuff and they're still shipping products. Plexus has kept everybody on board. Everybody's working from home except for the people in the shipping department in the warehouse. And they've actually hired new people through this whole process. And one of the reasons is because we're a debt-free company. And when you're debt-free as a company, you're able to weather the storms better, right? There is no shutdown. You can take a lot longer storm or a lot bigger hit when you're prepared like that, and they've been well prepared. So we're partnered with an amazing company. So with all the things I just mentioned about the company, with all the things I mentioned about network marketing, the industry, with all the things I mentioned about people wanting what we have right now, we have nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear. We have what people need. They just need us to make the call. They need us to send the message. The only thing Plexus isn't doing right now is they're not grabbing my phone and calling my friends and telling them about Plexus for me. That's like the only thing they're not doing. They're doing everything else for us right now, which is crazy. We just have to pick up the phone or computer or whatever way you like to. We can't go to the coffee shop right now, but there's still a lot of other options. And, we have to be making the calls, and maybe more now than we ever have in the past.
You were saying we have the privilege to work.
Yes, some people have no option. Like they have in Illinois, for example, people are laid off and now they can't even get unemployment insurance through the government that they were promised because at least our government in Illinois is not prepared and smart enough to get the computers up and running for people. So now they're out of money. They want to work, they just can't. And now they can't even get the assistance that they were promised. So it's a real problem, but we have the privilege of, basically, as far as our Plexus business goes, we have the privilege of not being hurt at all. I mean, nothing really in light of the Plexus business has been affected negatively yet. Now, if this goes on for a year, of course, everything's going to be a problem, but I don't see that happening. So it's a real privilege to be a part of an industry like this and to be part of a company like Plexus in this industry. So be encouraged. There's just a lot of amazing things. And we got paid, Vanessa, we're getting paid a week early this month just to help people out. Mm-hmm. Who does this? I could go on and on and on and on about how encouraged I am with this company and the leadership of this company. But like Alec Clark always says, he says, if you're blessed, be a blessing. And it's my experience with him and with Tarl that they actually believe that. It's not just some sort of rah-rah cheerleading fancy quote to put on my coffee mug. They actually believe it. And you can see it because they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're showing up big time right now. So we have everything to be encouraged with Plexus right now, not discouraged, not fearful. And if there's I won't mention any names, but if there's some network marketing coach out there telling people not to reach out, find a different network marketing coach. I'll just throw that out there. That's my opinion on that. Because now's the time and people need what we have. So
who is committing to either sign help 3 or help 6 people start in April? Because that's what the stimulus package or stimulus bonus is promoting, is for us to go silver or double silver, essentially. So if that's your goal, which it's Justin, my goal, to each sign 6. That's scary to say out loud.
That's our goal.
Because
6.
I know what it takes to sign up that many people, especially at the stage of the game. It takes a lot of conversations. And just I don't remember where I was saying this recently, but it's going, if you what you're doing currently isn't producing 3 signups per month, then you have to go back and look at what your action is. Reaching out to 2 to 3 people a day that may not be enough reach outs to hit your goal. Like Brooke Hemingway says, in order to sign 3, she has to be talking to at least 100, 150 new people. If she wants to sign 6, then about 300 people. And so don't let the numbers of that scare you, but let it be motivation to you that it takes action. It takes a lot of conversations and reach outs, because we know that only 10%, about 10%, 20% of people respond back, right? At least initially. So
one thing I want to mention real fast, because then now you can sign up people for $9.95 without a welcome pack, and there's a special incentive for that, which is tax and shipping.
Yeah, free tax, free shipping.
Okay, so one thing I just want to throw out there, if you're signing up people for $9.95 without a welcome pack, that's great. It's one of the incentives that's happening, but those new ambassadors probably are going to need to be followed up with more, because they'll be easy to forget. You know, if they're not already ordered a welcome pack, or they don't have a subscription set up, then they could be easy to forget. So you want to be checking in with those. If you're signing people up that way, just make sure you're following up even more regularly than you are with someone with products.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this in the threads also, but like we're not changing our system for how we get new people started. Our tippy top goal is always people should sign up with a welcome pack.
Right
now, Plexus is doing that little special, so they get a free trial pack of Slim with their $9.95 join fee, and they can start signing people and making money right away. But like Justin was saying, if people are going that route, it's going to take a lot of effort on your part, because most people, unless they're a professional network marketing, they know how to do this. Most people are not going to know what to say, how to do it, that kind of thing. And so it goes back to helping them learn the send, share, invite system, hosting an online event for them, helping them make their first post. Obviously, these are like baby steps. You're not going to give it all to them at one time, but you need to get on the phone with them. You need to get a Zoom meeting set up so you can help them start their business strong and help them fast start. And that's what it takes, honestly, to help people go silver quickly. The majority of people. Yes, you'll have the unicorns that just are go-getters and they'll go do it themselves. But even the go-getters need you as a sponsor. They need your brain space. They need your encouragement and your coaching. So I would just encourage you guys to not necessarily encourage people to sign without a welcome pack. But if they have to do it the other way, make sure you're Johnny on the spot with them to help them sign people quickly and then be able to purchase their welcome pack by the 30th of April. Someone had a question. So for $10, they can start signing people up right away because they'll have their website.
Right.
Yep. And they'll start making their BBBs but they cannot rank up until they have their
100 PV.
Yeah. 100
so
PV.
What that means is they may have to sign a customer. Now the 100 PV doesn't have to come from their personal order. It can come from a customer because PV is PV. We get paid on PV for our own orders and for customers.
And commission qualifies us.
Right. And you have to have that at least 100 PV to earn a commission. Otherwise it goes to your upline. So just throwing it out there, it's just one of those compensation plan things that we need to be aware of. So just because if they sign up, they don't get the welcome pack, they sign up 3 people to go silver. Well, they're not going to go silver because they're not commission qualified because they have 0 PV. So they're going to have to get some customers.
Yes. And if you're in carries 1 through 4, oh man, I don't want to say this wrong. Carrie, do you want to pop on and say what your special is? Carrie's rebating the $9.95 back to people. It's for specific levels. So just go back to the team page and read the fine print. That's still going up.
I'll say I can chime in. I just can't video right now. Okay, so it's my levels 1 through 4. So like Megan's my level 1, Justin's my level 2, and so on and so on. Yes, the $10 I will rebate that. Go find my post. It says it's like floral and says something about first 25. So I saw about half the spots, less than half the spots are left, but there's still time. And I'm probably going to end that Saturday if they're not filled. So make sure to get those people signed up. But yes, the details and all that on the team page, find that picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the urgency of that, knowing that it's ending that Saturday, gives us some like, okay, I need to go hit my follow-up list. And I mean, Carrie had a special that's why I joined when I did, because she and Jessica rebated my join fee, and she had been talking to me, and then she just like, hey, I have some spots for free enrollment. Do you want one? And I was like, yeah, sign me up, right? And so it is important to follow back up with people, like Jody was saying. The majority of our business is built on follow-up. So don't be afraid. Follow-up is professional. A lot of you are reading the Get Over Yourself book by Romy Newstott this month, and she has a chapter in there specifically about follow-up. So if you're having head trash about that, or you're feeling like you're lacking in that skill set, go read the chapter on that, because it's really good. The other thing is, I will just say, hoping is not the same as committing to, right? And obviously we cannot make anyone on our team do anything necessarily, but we can inspire people. And if you want your paycheck to increase, you have to figure out how to inspire people, instill a sense of urgency, and to help them learn a skill set. And so one thing that I'm learning from Brooke Hemingway is she bases her goals off of other people's goals on her team, and it's not just her level ones. So she's in the trenches working with level 2s, working with level 3s, helping people go silver. And so I would just encourage you guys not to just be like, well, no one went silver on my team this month, I guess it'll have to be next month. They need you to be with them, to help them know what to do, because you have the skill set, and you know, because you've been silver, like you went silver, right? So you can teach someone else how to do that. And so I just want to encourage everyone to kind of like get in the trenches and ask your teammates, like, what is your goal? Can I team up with you and help you do this? Even helping people make a point goal if they're not close to a rank up, but like, hey, let's set a point goal and work on that this month, because the verbalization of saying and putting it out there of like, hey, I want to help you get your products covered this month, or hey, I want to help you hit 150 pay points because you're in between gold and senior gold. Let's make that our point, because if we don't verbalize a goal, like we have nothing to shoot for, right? And so just be really careful of your verbiage, and as you communicate what your goals are, or you're chatting with your people, help them say, it's not wishing, we're not hoping, we're not trying, right? We're going to make it happen, and we're going to work really diligently on that. So anywho's, great. Add 6, add 3, get 2 to silver. Very good. Specific goals are very, very important. So you guys, that's all I have.
That was awesome.
Cool. Well, I'll see some of you on the power half hour tomorrow morning, and coaching tomorrow afternoon.
Right. Well, be encouraged. Defeat fear by just go for it. Whatever it is you're afraid of, just go do that thing. Just do it quickly.
We're proud of you guys. Have a great night.
See you guys.
It's going to be a great month. Bye.